Hello traders and listeners, Patrick Maldonado here, cryptocurrency trader and market analyst at Alpha Chain Capital and founder of TCE Trading. In today's episode, I will try to answer one of the most common questions asked by people who don't know what trading is, but yet they have heard about it. This is for people who they don't know the ins and outs of how you become a profitable trader, but they know or they have heard that you can make money by buying and selling in the market. So as some of you may know, this question is, can I actually become a millionaire with trading? I will explain the answer to this question with a realistic and honest approach while covering some key components of successful trading. So, if you know anyone who might be interested in trading, please let them know about this podcast. I would like to change the industry and its marketing, but in order to do this, I need your help. So this is actually a very kind of maybe not funny, but some interesting topic. And the reason is because I have heard a lot of people, and I've already talked about the marketing. I've already talked about how people are advertising. These companies are advertising trading, right? Calling it like almost like a get rich quick scheme, and that it's very easy to do. Now, one of the things, and this is by experience and also by other people who I know that were interested in learning how to trade, and they went through other, let's call them education providers. They do this kind of free webinars. Well, it wasn't a webinar, it was a free seminar that you get to join in, and then you meet at a certain spot and they give you kind of like this presentation of why you should be trading. And the thing is that with this experience that I had, they claim, for instance, there's someone that claims that they became a millionaire by having just $5,000, and they invested that or reinvested that in the market and so on, and they achieved more than 1 million, or they became millionaires. So there's a lot of stories out there, and a lot of them might be kind of true. Now, I'm not gonna be saying that it's impossible, because it's definitely possible. Now, the fact is that like they say, the devil is in the details, right? You need to know exactly what they went through, because maybe they became a millionaire, but maybe it wasn't only because they went into trading. If you think about it, trading is a business, right? In a business, you don't want to sell one product only, you want to diversify. So that's why a lot of people, a lot of successful traders, what they do is maybe they'll start teaching, maybe they'll create a course, maybe they will give signals, maybe they will give mentoring and so on, because that's a way to diversify your business, to diversify your portfolio, right? You can do this through social media, you can do this through many ways. So again, the details are very important. Now, if we talk about trading, or what people think about trading, there's really two ways, right? If you have $5,000, let's say, and you want to become a millionaire, maybe you can do it, but it's gonna be in a risky way, right? Maybe you're gonna be almost putting that amount of money in every single trade. So, I mean, chances of making a lot of money, yeah, are good, but chances of losing it are also very high, right? And this is kind of gambling in a sense, right? Because there's no risk management, which is something that I'm going to be talking about during this episode. Now, this is in contrast, very opposite to what the real way or the real trading is, because you need to be consistent. You need to have knowledge about risk management and trading psychology. So the short answer to the question, can you become a millionaire with trading, is really, it depends, right? It depends on a lot of factors. It depends on a lot of time and how you execute in the market. So before going into more details about this approach and some examples that I have already calculated for you so that you get a better idea of how you can make money with trading, let's head a little bit into risk management. So in few words, risk management is kind of like this process that ensures longevity of your account, right? It ensures that your account is gonna survive a lot of losing trades, or it ensures that you are not basically gonna blow up your account. So if you have $1,000, if you have $10,000, it's just to ensure that you're not gonna lose everything, right? And trying to optimize your trading so that you can actually benefit or can profit in the long run. So that's the purpose of risk management. Now, In my trading course, of course, I go way deeper into the different steps, into the different definitions, but briefly speaking, risk management consists of a stop loss, which is basically an order in the market. You know, if you have a position, it's an order that if the trade goes against you, it's gonna take you out at a specific loss, right? So that's the stop loss. Basically, it prevents you from having more and more losses. Now, the opposite is the take profit, which basically, again, it can be manual order or it can be something that you set automatic after entering a trade, but basically is you getting out of that trade with a profit, right? So it's locking your profits. Now, something else, well, there's two things that you also need to consider for risk management. First of all, is know your exposure per trade. So meaning if you have $1,000, if you want to trade 1% per trade, that's about $10. You know, you want to know how much are you exposing so that you don't end up putting a trade without knowing this, and then all of a sudden you're negative 10%, negative 20, negative 30%, right? So that's what you really want to avoid. You really want to be in control of the information and knowing what is happening. And the last thing is the risk versus reward ratio. Now, you might have heard that the greater the risk, the greater the reward, right? That's a pretty common thing to think about. Of course, if you are gambling, if you are putting a lot of money, if you increase that stake, of course, you're gonna get more reward, right? That's the normal way of thinking. But even though this is the case, you can't increase the ratio, right? If you increase the risk, meaning if you increase your risk from 1% to maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 10%, whichever you want, you do not necessarily change the risk reward ratio. Now, what is the risk reward ratio? Is basically how much are you earning per unit risk. So let's say that you are risking 1% of your account, maybe $10 if it's a $1,000 account. And then if you take profit, if you win the trade, if you are earning, let's say $30, that's a risk reward of 1 to 3, right? You are risking 1 unit, which is 1%, and you're earning back 3%, which is 3 times. So that's just an example. And again, I go way deeper into this in the AB trading course about what's a good risk reward, how you can use it to balance your trading. But just for you to know about it, it's a real thing, right? So the objective as a trader really is to balance your risk reward ratio. Maybe it's from 1 to 3, but this really depends on your trading style. So it really depends on your particular way of putting trades and on your trading psychology. Now, before again going into this, if you can become a millionaire kind of question, what are the variables for you to profit, right? This is something that you need to take into consideration, because yes, you can make a lot of money, but that amount of money is gonna depend on different variables. Now, it's gonna depend on your trading capital, meaning how much are you gonna be putting at risk, right? How much are you willing to put into the market in order to get something out of it? Your risk per trade, as I mentioned, what percentage of that capital that you have are gonna put into each individual trade, because each individual trade is just kind of like a ticket in order to be able to take something out of the market. Of course, in some cases you are gonna lose some trades, that's why risk management is important, but in some cases you are gonna win, and if you have a good risk reward ratio, right, which we just talked about, then your chances of being profitable are gonna increase. So risk reward ratio is another variable into making profits. The other thing is, of course, win percentage, but as a matter of fact, most people are around 50% win percentage, meaning that they win 50% of their trades or lose 50% of their trades, and sometimes a little bit less depending on their discipline and of course on their specific strategy. But usually you will see that it goes around 40 to 60% on the bigger picture. And the last thing, that the last variable and very important in order to be profitable, is discipline. How disciplined are you in following your rules? How disciplined are you in following your specific strategy? Now let's try to see what it would take or how long it would take if you kind of are like a professional trader, or maybe if you are a retail trader, right? In order to get this 1 million or becoming a millionaire. So first of all, we need to set realistic examples, right? Or realistic expectations, but it's impossible to really know for sure like every single detail. So we're gonna make some assumptions, right? These assumptions will include that, let's assume that you don't have any losing months. Let's assume that you are gaining consistent profits per month. So we're gonna fix it, right? The percentage that you're earning per month, we're gonna be fixing that, which in reality it's almost impossible. Sometimes you're gonna get a little bit more than what you're expecting. Sometimes you're gonna get a little bit less. Sometimes a negative performance per month, right? Another thing, there's gonna be no withdrawals, meaning you're not gonna take any of your profits out, and no tax payments. And again, all of these in reality are very different, because in reality you need to pay your taxes. In reality, you might make some withdrawals. Maybe you're also gonna make some deposits as well, right? So, but in order to more or less see how long it would take you in order to become a millionaire by trading, these assumptions are something that we can take into consideration, right? So example one, let's say that you are a retail trader, right? And you're aiming at a monthly percentage of 5%, right? I mean, there's a lot of Forex traders, there are a lot of professional traders that can make a yield up to 15% per month, and that's quite a lot, right? But let's be a little bit conservative, maybe a little bit standard. I think 5% is very, very achievable if you have a consistent strategy, right? So again, with this example, 5% per month, and you have an initial capital of $1,000 US. So this is basically the scenario of a retail trader, right? So if we use a compounding table, meaning that we're gonna be adding up 5% gains at the end of each month, at the end of year one, your account would be around 1,795. So let's round it up to 1,800, right? So that's almost 80% gains, right? So I hope that you start understanding how compounding is adding up month by month, right? Because if you were only adding 5% every month, at the end of 12 months it's 60%, but because the compounding effect, you get a little bit extra. So that might be another topic I cover in another podcast episode, but I'm deviating a little bit of the topic now. At year 5, with that same example, your account would be around 18,679, right? So that's 5 years of trading, that's 5 years of putting the effort, that's 5 years of following your discipline. So if you continue with this pace of 5% and the initial $1,000 capital, by year 11 to 12, within those 2 years, your account passes the 1 million threshold at $1,125,000, 276, right? So that's at the end of year 12. Now, let's take another example. Let's see another example. Let's assume that now you're still a retail trader. You're gonna be putting, or you're gonna be making 5% per month, more or less, right? Your initial capital is still $1,000, but you are making a monthly deposit of $100. Why? Because maybe you want to treat trading kind of like your savings account, right? Something that you're gonna be growing over time and you're gonna be depositing monthly. Now, after year one, your account would be around 3,467. So this is more than triple, right? Also because you are adding it monthly and you are again growing it in a compounding fashion, right? So at the end of year 5, that same account would be almost $55,805. So you can see the big increase just by treating it more like a savings, right? Just if you put $200 per month, something that you know you might be comfortable doing if you have a stable job, well, you can see that you can start earning more and more over time. So by year 9 to 10, the account passes again this $1 million threshold at $1,079,527 in total for the total account, right? So it's 10 years of working in your business if you start with that initial capital, right? Now, this is for the retail side, right? If you're retail, you're not really expecting just living of trading. You're not expecting just becoming a millionaire by trading, right? You really need to focus your business on trading, make it your priority, and again, doing other side of the business as I already explained. But now, how does it look to be a professional trader? Now, there's a lot of ways to be a professional trader. You can work for prop trading company and work as I've already said, I'm working for Alpha Chain Capital as a trader, and there's a lot of companies that they do schemes so that you can join them as a traders and they will give you more capital, right? So just as an example, let's say you're a professional trader. Again, you're aiming for that 5% per month, but now you have the leverage of that company, and now you have $100,000 as initial capital, right? And that might not be the standard usually when you're starting. Of course, they're gonna give you less, they're gonna give you these evaluation periods, and you're gonna grow over time. But let's say that you reach the point that this company gives you $100,000. Now, by the end of year one, just following the same strategy, just following the same procedure, your account would end up being $179,585, almost $180,000, right? That's again almost the same growth percentage from the retail one, which is around 80%. But the difference is that now by year 3 to 4, right, your account passes that 1 million threshold. So at year 4, at the end of year 4, you would have $1,040,000. So again, this is to put into perspective that yeah, you can do it, but take into consideration all the time and effort that it takes, right? Again, trading is not a get rich quick scheme. Trading is more about knowing the market, working on yourself with trading psychology, understanding the ins and outs of risk management, and just keep working and keep progressing through this path. It doesn't matter if you want to become a professional trader and you want this to be your main source of income, or if you want to treat it as a secondary income, right? That's also a valid argument. You want to treat it as having a savings account and growing it slowly with time. Now, something that you need to be aware of course, is that the bigger the account, the bigger the risk, of course, right? Even though the risk reward ratio might stay the same, you are risking more because you are risking a fixed percentage. So it might become more difficult to grow at the same pace. So if you have $1 million and you're trading with $1 million, you can't expect to be trading with the same percentage. Maybe you are gonna reduce your percentage because you're already getting more profits, right? So topic of becoming a millionaire, it's possible, you know, in theory, but you really need to focus on the details, right? The devil's on the details, meaning the other variables that were assumed are gonna play a big role in how you perform this, right? You can have, again, losing months, you have to make some tax payments, you also have, maybe you want to do withdrawals and so on. But I hope that you understand now, more or less in a realistic approach, how you can actually achieve this. In any case, traders and listeners, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the TCE Trading Podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, please do so. You can follow the episodes on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.